Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a full in-depth tour of my bookshelves. I think I'm going to just go through and name every single book that I have on my shelves. We'll see how long this goes. This might take a while. All right, so yes, what I was saying, I think I will go through all of my shelves and name each individual book. I hope this video doesn't get too long. If it does, I'll just break it up into 2 parts, I guess. Or you guys will just be stuck with a single long video. You can always put it in double speed, so I won't be offended. All that aside, let's just get started. Let me first show you the bookshelves. You obviously saw me setting up the bookshelves, but I did change. I added a new one, or just moved one over a little bit. So here we go, let me just show you. So this is that awkward, weird corner that I was talking about. I put this shelf here. This one was not here earlier. I just had my little TBR cart sitting here on the other side of this shelf. This one had been sitting on this wall here, but I found this adorable small buffet on Marketplace, and I needed a coffee stand to make more room in my kitchen for things. So I put that there, and I moved this shelf over here. There were no books on it earlier. It was just sitting over here until I figured out where I wanted to put it. But I decided to make this my TBR shelf instead of having a TBR cart. So changing things up here, but otherwise everything is still the same. But I do love how it just wraps around into the hall with books. And as you can see, so much space. But anyway, we'll just start over here with my TBR shelf. These are not all of my unread books, which I should maybe move them all over. But these are all the ones that were on my TBR cart, ones that I think I'm most interested in reading next. So that's what's happening. This top shelf here is the 25 books in 2025 list that my sister picked out for me. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it below, up here in the corner, wherever, that you guys can go check out. But that's what these here on the top shelf are. I'll just quick run through them. Everyone's a Theologian, All the Places to Go, Cold Case Christianity, and Nation Rising. Then They Came for Me, Bonhoeffer, Frank the Voice, The Translator, Bridge to Bell Island, Prairie Song, Mine is the Night, Honor in the Dust, The Lady in the Lionheart, love that one, Bees in the Butterfly Garden, Daughters of the Northern Shore, Beyond All Dreams, A Return of Devotion, The Reluctant Duchess, Yours is the Night, On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness, first one of the Wingfeather Saga series, Rilla of Ingleside, and then this one is Robin Hood and His Merry Men, selected poetry of Emily Dickinson, What Matters in Jane Austen, and the Jane Austen Handbook. So then down here on my TBR shelf as well is a Paul biography, like the Apostle Paul by N.T. Wright. This is also a book by N.T. Wright, Surprised by Hope. A parenting book by Paul David Tripp, Then Sings My Soul, book 2. I love learning the history of hymns, and I found this at the thrift store the other day. This is a new one, and I didn't do a haul, so there you go. There's a new book for you guys. I still want to find book 1, but I love the history of hymns, and I just find these very fascinating. 5 Lives of Our Anti-Christian Age by Rosaria Butterfield. I'm in the middle of reading that one, actually, so yeah, haven't finished it yet though. Looking for Anne, Victoria, The Beautiful Truth by Sarah Clarkson. This is also a new book that I just recently purchased. Eve of 100 Midnights, C.T. Studd, Undaunted, The Boy Who Followed His Father into Auschwitz, The Auschwitz Photographer, Everyone Brave is Forgiven, A Sense of the World. Hi, baby. You gonna help Mama show the books? They Poured Fire on Us from the Sky, The $80 Champion, Rosewater, To Kill a Mockingbird, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, The Secret Keeper by Kate Morton, Uncle Tom's Cabin, Fahrenheit 451, Tarzan of the Apes, The Book of Aaron, Kristen Hanna's Between Sisters, October Baby, Book 1 and 2 of the Home to Blessing series by Lorraine Snelling, A Measure of Mercy, No Distance Too Far. Are you gonna show them? Let me see, Though None Go With Me, A Lady Unrivaled. This is also a new one. This is the third book in this series. Now, the third one to this one. And then this one is also new. From Dust and Ashes. I think this is book 1. I have book 3 here as well, Dawn of a Thousand Nights. I still need to find book 2. I started reading this one and didn't realize it was book 3 in a series, so I quit, and now I have to find the rest of the series to read them. Jeanette Oakes, When Courage Calls, and this one that baby girl pulled down, The Fiddler's Gun by A.S. Peterson. Andrew Peterson's younger brother, I think, wrote this one. And then The Waterkeeper by Charles Martin. Okay, this is my classics shelf, and then educational books down on that second to last shelf, and then children's picture books on the bottom shelf. Up here, I have just really old books. This is Josephus's work. This is a really old first edition, I think, biography of D.L. Moody, written by his son, I believe. I found this at a flea market in North Carolina long time ago. Started reading it, never finished it. But yes, it's very fragile and very old. I love books. This book was the most fascinating thing I ever read. It's a guide through bookland. It's a defense of reading, basically, and why it's good. Not really sure what these are. Mostly just for decor, so I won't pull those down. Although you can see this is Hawthorne, one of Hawthorne's books, but anyway. And this is my Anne of Green Gables / Ella Montgomery collection. This is just a illustrated classics version of Anne of Green Gables. The whole series except Rilla of Ingleside, which I already showed you, The Blue Castle, and The Story Girl. And then my Anne doll that my aunt crocheted for me. She's missing her hair because Eden was playing with it and the hair comes off. And I don't know where the hair went to, so I hope I can find it soon. But yeah, she's missing her adorable red braids. Editing Carmen here realized as I was doing the last clip that I forgot to talk about more of my mini books collection. They're in the basket sitting behind my Anne doll. So I'm gonna quickly show you guys all of these. I've been fighting a cough, cold, something all week, and my voice is just not great. But anyway, first up we have this little mini, can you see it? Kirsten American Doll book. Next up is this little book, As a Man Thinketh. Okay, next one. This is a little Italian dictionary. It's so tiny, it's so little, but you'll see in future clips. I have a lot of Italian dictionaries and books to learn Italian, so I grabbed this one as well. This is a perfect little one to just stick in a bag if I ever visit Italy, which I hope I will someday, but I don't know when that's gonna be. Next I have this really mini little golden book, the Tawny Scrawny Lion. I love these mini books. They're so fun. Next up is The Littlest Book of Van Gogh. If it'll focus here. Can you see? There we go. The Littlest Book of Van Gogh. So it's just got all of his paintings in miniature. So that's fun. This one is actually my husband's. It was a book from when he was a baby. I think someone gave it to him. It's just Precious Moments little book. This one is a book, the little book on knots. So just obviously an information book about all the different types of knots. I love this one. And then this is the guide book to, no, the Hardy Boys Guide to Life. So, but that's it with my minis that I keep in this basket here. And on to the classics. So I have them here in alphabetical order. This is Aesop's Fables, my Louisa May Alcott collection, Under the Lilacs, The Inheritance, The Quiet Little Women, A Christmas Story, Little Men, Little Women, Old Fashioned Girl, Little Women. This copy is the one that I will probably read or loan out because these copies are from the 1880s. So we want to protect those. Jane Austen collection, Persuasion, Emma, Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Northanger Abbey. I want to find all of the Everyman Library editions of Jane Austen. I just haven't found them yet. That way they can all match. Because I think these are just gorgeous. I love that green and the gold. Eden is destroying the books beneath me. Then next is Lorna Doone, Jane Eyre, When Knighthood Was in Flower. I honestly have no idea what this one was about. I looked it up on Goodreads when I found it at the thrift store and it just seemed very interesting, so there's that one. The George Washington Papers, A Christmas Carol. So a few Dickens, the only two Dickens that I have, Little Dorrit. I loved the show, and so I figured I would at least try this one. I haven't read any of Dickens yet. He intimidates me, but I loved the show, so I at least got this one to hopefully read one day. The Narrative of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave. My Lloyd C. Douglas collection, The Big Fisherman, The Robe. Love, love, love this one. It's so good. Disputed Passage. I haven't read these two yet. This is kind of the second one to The Robe, so I should switch them around. This is just another one that he wrote that I haven't read yet, but I love his writing, so I'm hoping I will love them. Over here are some of my mini books. This is a bouquet of flowers, so it's just a tiny little book with different types of flowers and poems to go along with them. I thought it was the cutest little thing. And then, oops, come on, focus. It's not focusing, come on. There we go. Daily Food. Just a tiny little booklet of daily verses and devotionals, I guess. It's a little bit of foxing going on here on the pages, but I love mini books, so there we go. Baby girl, please don't tear the books. This is just a really fun vintage looking minute hourglass. I don't know how long it actually is, but I love the way it looks on my shelves, so I got it. These over here are just other little trinkets. I love evergreen trees, so that was just a random little thing that I found. This thing is so cool. I love it. I love minis. I don't know if you can tell, but an old-fashioned phone, but it's also a pencil sharpener, so that's fun. And then these are little pieces of nature that I've collected. They're actually all from Poland. So this one is from a forest in Poland that we biked to and had a picnic in. This stone and these shells are from the Baltic Sea, so that's fun. I should say the beaches of the Baltic Sea in Gdańsk, Poland. Okay, moving on to the next shelf. Found this fun vintage brass bell. And this picture, the frame is falling apart. I need to get a new frame. But I do love the picture. Hello, there's me. I don't know if you can't really see it. Let me put it back up here. You can kind of see it. The painter that painted this, it's called 10 Cent Breakfast, something like that. I looked it up the other day, but I can't remember exactly what it was called, and I'm not even sure of who the painter was, but I saw it at the Denver Art Museum, and I loved the painting, so I got the small miniature version. But one of these guys, I think this one, is Robert Louis Stevenson, so I thought it was fun that was an author, and I think some of the others are writers or artists. I don't know. I just love the picture. But anyway, let's move that so we can look at the books. Have the 2 complete Sherlock Holmes collections, Middlemarch, 5 Smooth Stones. This is an Italian novel, so a novel written in the Italian language. So I want to learn Italian, and I thought it would be fun to try to read an Italian novel. I have no idea what this one actually is anyway, but there we go. North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. Robin Hood. Green Dolphin Street by Elizabeth Googe. Les Mis by Hugo. Rules of a Knight by Ethan Hawke. This is actually not necessarily a classic, but I just stuck it in here with my old books because it looks pretty. A sketchbook. This is by Irving. Yeah. Mostly got it because I thought it was a pretty book. But yeah, it's writings by Irving, so then the Long Roll by Mary Johnston. This is a Civil War novel, but I don't know much else about it. It just looked interesting, so I grabbed it from the thrift store. Till We Have Faces by C.S. Lewis, Phantom of the Opera, The Flames of Rome, The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry, The Scarlet Pimpernel, Scottish Chiefs, Keeper of the Bees, The Complete Stories of Edgar Allan Poe, He Fell in Love with His Wife by E.P. Rowe. This one, folks, if you haven't heard me talk about it before, here's me saying again, please read this one. It is my top favorite book from last year, one of the top 3 at least of all time favorite books. It's just so good. Here's a little mini book of Poe's writing, so that's fun. All right, here's my final classics shelf. The Master's Violin. This is the history of the Italian Republic. This is a book about Maria Stuart and William Tell. It's in Polish, so that's fun, and I will probably never read it, but this is a souvenir from Poland. I love to collect books, if I can, when I visit a country. George Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion. This is the play that My Fair Lady was based off of, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 5 Little Peppers. Quo Vadis. Walter Scott's Ivanhoe. Love this copy. It's so pretty. And I also love Ivanhoe, the book. The Unabridged Mark Twain. Lew Wallace's Ben-Hur. A book on butterflies. I love butterflies, and I loved this vintage copy, so grabbed that. Whittier's Complete Poems. Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm. Wilderness Essays by John Muir. The Word Exchange, Anglo-Saxon Poems in Translation. My 2 Billy Collins books. Longfellow. This one is No Place Like Home. Everyman's Library Pocket Edition. And then Whittier's poems. And then all of my bookmarks. Okay, so here's my educational shelf. books that will probably be more used in the future for homeschooling, things like that, but Italian now. This is just like an Italian lesson textbook that I found at the thrift store. 2 Italian dictionaries, a newer one and an older one. Yes, are you gonna help me tell them about books again? There we go. This is also a smaller everyday Italian dictionary, and then this one is for the hand gestures that the Italians use. I don't even know if that's a legit one or if it's more just a humorous one, but yeah. If there are any Italians out there, let me know if that's a legit book or not. Yeah, you want to look at them too? Baby girl mom is trying to see them. So next is At Home in Joshua Tree. This is just a field guide to desert living. I think I had followed these people on Instagram or somehow saw this from years ago. But I loved the book. It's more of a coffee table style book. But it was very interesting and lots of recipes, home design, things like that. Singing Life of Birds. I love birds. And this has a CD with it with all of the different bird sounds on it. And I thought that would be fun to go through someday with the kids. Nature Anatomy. So I kind of have these sectioned off by nature, obviously. And then this is Bushcraft 101. And then next is more of reading books. So books about reading. A Family of Readers, A Book Lover's Guide to Children's and Young Adult Literature. How to Raise a Reader. What a Wonderful Word. So these are all very unique words from different places all around the world. How to Read Novels Like a Professor. And then next is Travel. The Art of Travel. Oops, this one should have been with the reading books, but Confessions of a Common Reader. This is a hilarious book. Very interesting. More travel, The Wayfarer's Handbook. Just lots of tidbits about traveling to various places. Next is music. This is just a ukulele instruction book. Learn to Read Music booklet. And then just random other educational ones. This is one about writing. I think this is an old spelling book. This is flint flaking, I guess. I don't know. I think that was just some random one that I rescued out of the trash. This is an older standard mathematical tables book. And what is this one? Oh, this is also one that I rescued out of the trash, but it's just a shorthand dictionary, which I thought was interesting. And then all of these are just the Daughters of Promise magazines that I had collected over the years when I was subscribed to them. But yeah, they're definitely not in order. I need to organize them a little more. But anyway. And then on the bottom is just all of my... Yes, all of my children's picture books. I won't go through them individually, but if any of you mamas out there or anyone honestly who loves to collect children's books, if you want to see them, let me know down in the comments and I'll do a separate video for those. Next will be my fiction shelf. So the first shelves, I have all of my historical fiction, Christian historical fiction, and then this is mostly historical fiction because that's mostly what I have, but there are a few other random ones that are not necessarily historical fiction, but I'll go over them then. But this is the general ones, not Christian fiction. Anyway, up on top I have my Children of the Consortium series because they are just beautiful and I wanted them to have their own place. I love this series. And I just love the hardcovers are just, they're just beautiful. I love them. Anyway, there's my record collection. I guess if anyone's interested in those, I can show them at some point. I think at least one person had asked before. But yeah, maybe if you guys are interested, I can also do those as well. But anyway, I have these all organized by author's last name alphabetically. So there we go. First is If I Were You by Lynn Austen. This is My Dearest Dietrich by Barrett. Oh, it's Amanda Barrett. That's cool. I think she wrote The Warsaw Sisters. I think it's the same Amanda. But this is the love story novel based off of Dietrich Bonhoeffer's love story. But anyway. Then, sorry if the light is glaring, but anyway. This is the Misty and Beller Hearts of Montana series. Hope's Highest Mountain, Love's Mountain Quest, and Faith's Mountain Home. Couldn't quite read it sideways. Be Still My Soul by Joanne Biscoff, Sons of Blackbird Mountain, Joanne Biscoff, and then the new Point 911 series by Terry Blackstock, Private Justice, Shadow of Doubt, Word of Honor, Trial by Fire, Line of Duty. This was the first series I ever read by Terry Blackstock, and they got me hooked. Love them. And then If I'm Found, this is a newer purchase. Found it at the thrift store the other day. If I'm Found is book number 3? 2. Yes, book number 2. So I need to find the rest of those because I also really love this series. Lawana Blackwell's The Maiden of Mayfair. This is book number 1 of the Tales of London series. I am waiting to find the rest of them because I want them to match this edition. So I haven't read this one yet, but these are the Gresham Chronicles. Book 1, 2, and 3 by Lawana Blackwell. Loved this series so much. Her writing is very similar to Gilbert Morris, my other favorite historical fiction author. And she took a lot of inspiration from Gilbert Morris's books, actually, so that makes sense. But yes, love this series. So I want to read more of her books once I find more of the series. The Nature of Small Birds by Susie Finkbeiner. A couple of Rachel Fordham books, Where the Road Bends and The Letter Tree. Then my Laura France collection, The Rose and the Thistle, An Uncommon Woman, A Heart of Drift, Tidewater Bride, A Bound Heart, Frontiersman's Daughter. The only hardcover I have, and Eden tore the dust jacket, so that's why it's missing. And then I have Along a Storied Trail by Anne H. Gabhart. My Gulk books, this is the only one I have up here, Band of Sisters by Kathy Gulk. I think someone borrowed the one book about the Titanic, so that one's not on the shelf, but I do have the other one. I'll just put a picture up here so you guys can see it. And then these are the, what are these called? The Hidden Harvest trilogy by Anne de Graaf. These are set in Poland during World War II. Very interesting, and I loved the stories, but I also loved it more just because I visited many of the places that are mentioned in this book. But I loved that. It's very heavy on the historical aspect, so if you don't love that, you might not enjoy those as much, but yes. And down here, I have 2 Amy Lynn Green books, the Blackout Book Club and The Things We Didn't Say. And then my Hunter collection, the Hawthorne House series, A Noble Masquerade, An Elegant Facade, An Uncommon Courtship, and An Inconvenient Beauty. These books progressively got better the more into the series you got. I think Uncommon Courtship was my favorite, one of my favorites, but this one was really good too. Then this one is the Haven Manor series, A Defense of Honor. I read this one. I showed you book number 2 already over on my TBR shelf. And then A Pursuit of Home. The Story People, one of my all-time favorite books as well. Please read it if you haven't. Dangerous Beauty by Melissa Coslin. Oh, yes, this is also a new one. Haven't shown you guys yet. I got it for Christmas. Across the Ages, Gabrielle Meyer, book number 4. Obviously still need to collect the others. And I have book number 5 actually pre-ordered, so that's fun. And then all of these are part of the House of Winslow series, my all-time favorite historical fiction series. I definitely don't have all of them, but I'm trying to collect them in this edition, so they're a little hard to come by. But anyway, The Honorable Imposter, which is the first one of the series, and then from there I have The Captive Bride, The Indentured Heart, The Gentle Rebel, The Holy Warrior, The Valiant Gunman, The Crossed Sabers, The Yukon Queen, and then I think I actually would have read all of those when I borrowed them from my friends. But all of these from the 1900s on I have not read yet because I'm trying to read them in order. I also want to collect them and then restart the series before I finish it. But we have The Silver Star, The Shadow Portrait, The Flying Cavalier, The Golden Angel, The Shining Badge, The Silent Harp, The Royal Handmaid, The Virtuous Woman, The Gypsy Moon, The High Calling, and The White Knight. Here's some more Gilbert Morris. These are the Wakefield Dynasty books. These are set in England during the time of when William Tyndale and all of those were translating the Bible into English, and so there was a lot of persecution happening. Loved this series as well. I am missing book number 5 of the series, but hoping to find that as well. Then moving on, 2 more Gilbert Morris books. These are book 1 and book 2 of the Liberty Bell series. Haven't read these yet, but Sound the Trumpet, and I can't read it because of the sticker. Song in a Strange Land. I'm assuming these are set during the American Revolution. And then I have my Jeanette Oak collection. Mostly have these for nostalgia's sake because I loved these when I was a teenager. But this is the Love Comes Softly series. Love Comes Softly. Let me use my other hand so I don't block it. Love Comes Softly, Love's Enduring Promise, Love's Long Journey, Love's Abiding Joy, Love's Unending Legacy, Love Finds a Home, Love Takes Wing, and Love's Unfolding Dream. And then the Canadian West series, When Calls the Heart, When Comes the Spring, When Breaks the Dawn, When Hope Springs New, and When Tomorrow Comes. Missing book 5 apparently. And next, these are the Seasons of the Heart. They are clearly switched around. Why do these editions? These have numbers and these don't. But yeah. Once Upon a Summer is first. And then The Winds of Autumn. And then Winter is Not Forever. And then Spring's Gentle Promise. So I'm not sure why I'm pulling some of these out and showing you the covers versus others. I don't know. Maybe you guys actually want to see the covers of the books, but it would take too long to do all of that. Then next is a standalone Heart of the Wilderness and A Gown of Spanish Lace. And then I have my 2 Politano books, Joanna Davidson Politano, A Midnight Dance, and Finding Lady Enderley. Love her books so much. Then my one and only Michael Phillips book, The Treasure of the Celtic Triangle. This is book number 2 of the series. I haven't read it yet because I'm waiting on the first one. And of course, the Mark of the Lion series by Francine Rivers. Absolute favorite. Love, love, love. And then here I have the Zion Covenant series by Brock and Bodie Taney. I've only read Vienna Prelude, which is the first one. I want to reread it and then read the rest of the series because I finally have all of them. So yeah, we have the Prague Counterpoint, Munich Signature, Jerusalem Interlude, Danzig Passage, Warsaw Requiem, London Refrain, Paris Encore. Sorry, it was getting blurry. And then the Dunkirk Crescendo. So these are all very musically themed, obviously by the titles. But yeah, like the first one, she's a musician, and I'm not really sure what the rest of the series is about, but I can't wait to read them because they're just so good. At least, I mean, this first one was so good. right, moving on. Are you coming back to help Mama? She must copy Mama. Okay, so then we have The Lost Heiress by Rosanna M. White. So this is the first book, and I showed you books 2 and 3 over on my TBR shelf. Then my Lori Wick collection, Bamboo and Lace, Every Storm, the Yellow Rose trilogy, The Princess, and then the Kensington Chronicles. I think these were the first ones that I read by Lori Wick, and I absolutely fell in love with them, especially the Hawk and Jewel. I've read this thing probably 15 times. I don't even know anymore. But The Hawk and the Jewel, Wings of the Morning, Who Brings Forth the Wind, and The Knight and the Dove. And then the English Garden series, The Proposal, The Rescue, The Visitor, and The Pursuit. And then my Whittemire collection, the Hanger's Horseman series, At Love's Command, The Heart's Charge, In Honor's Defense. Have I read this one? I know for sure I read those 2, but I can't remember if I read the 3rd one yet. But anyway, No Other Will Do, A Worthy Pursuit, Short Straw Bride, Tailor Made Bride, and then this is her Christmas collection, Under the Texas Mistletoe. And then I just have some kind of, these aren't really in alphabetical order, but it's more like biblical fiction. The Chosen, the first season book. Tommy Tenney's Hadassah One Night with the King book. And then this is Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ. Carol Wallace is Lew Wallace's great-great-granddaughter, I believe. I think I got that right. And this is rewritten for the newer Ben-Hur movie. And so a lot of the just like descriptions of the place were cut out, but the story, the main heart of the story is still there. So if you don't want to tackle the original classic, I would say go for this one, because the heart of the story is still here. A few of the words and few things were like changed to make it for easier to read, but like I said, the heart of the story is still there, and I love the Ben-Hur story. And then The Bronze Bow by Elizabeth George Spear. I think this is set during the Roman persecution of the church. Like, I think. I'm not 100% positive on that. And then I have Victoria Lynn's The Lost Rose. This is the only one I have of her series, but I have read the entire series. I just had pre-ordered this one because it just sounded so good, and I loved the other 2 books, and I wanted to own this one when it was first coming out. So I do still need to get the first 2 books, but anyway, I wanted to keep this one displayed somewhere because I just love that cover. But anyway, I guess I could just do that. Oh.